A real review of Greg's first ever UK pub. Welcome to Newcastle, the home of the Angel of the North, the Tyne Bridge, Newcastle Brown Ale, Shearer's Bar, and Newcastle Football Club, but potentially most famous for being the home of Greg's Bakery. Now you can definitely feel this as you're walking around the city centre, as there's at least 14 of them just in this bit, so what better place to open their first ever pub than right in the heart of where it all began. So this is based conveniently just above a Greg's, in the Fenwick Shopping Centre, and it's called the Golden Flake Tavern, which is probably a nod to all the golden flakes that fall off your steak bake when you try and eat it in the car, and then step out looking like a before of a Head & Shoulders advert. But anyway, once you arrive, you're taken to your table and then handed a menu, which is basically just a tarted up Greg's menu. And there was only one dish catching my eye, and that was their famous steak bake, but with the words mixed grill after it. And my guest had the fish finger sandwich and some mac and cheese bites. We also got a couple of drinks, with mine having this lovely bit of foam art on the top. So when my dish arrived, it was a beautifully presented steak bake with an egg on top, a bit of false advertising with a mixed grill bit because the steak bake was the only meat on there, but it also had chips on the side, tomatoes, mushroom, and a bit of greenery, and also a pot of gravy. I was a bit unsure what to do at this point. Do you eat the egg first or just go on with the gravy? I chose the latter and have probably committed some sort of crime, but it did seem to work. I mean, what can I say? It's a steak bake on a plate with a few extras for £12.50. The fish finger sandwich and mac and cheese bites looked alright, and then we got a couple of puddings for £6.50 each. On a Sunday they do a carvery where you can choose a steak bake, chicken bake, or cheese and onion bake as your meat for £17.50 per person, which does seem a bit steep for a Greg's bake slapped on your plate instead of a decent cut of meat, but I suppose you're paying for the novelty of eating in the first Greg's pub, which was a little bit underwhelming. I was expecting it to be decked out with the Greg's logo, hideous bright blue and orange paint everywhere, and maybe even some cut up sausage rolls as bar snacks. But yeah, that was probably the most expensive Greg's I've ever had. And was it worth the 8-hour round trip for me to try it? Probably not, but we'll go anywhere for a real review. See you next time.